Hello Cricut buddies, Jeff here from Cricut Maker Craft.
In today's tutorial, I'll show you how to make an alphabet puzzle, but you can always modify this and turn it into a numbers puzzle or maybe some spellings. You can also add some spellings here depending on what you want to go for.
Now before we get started with today's tutorial, I want to share a couple of announcements. So first of all, I'm running a milestone giveaway. Once I hit 10k subscribers on my YouTube, I'm gonna give away a Cricut Maker bundle. So if you want to win this, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. Secondly, I wanted to share this amazing video that I created for everyone just starting out with Cricut or don't know what SVGs or SVG cut files are. So go ahead and sign up for this completely free training video. The link is given in the description below. Also, if you are new to the Cricut world and finding it hard to remember all the tasks that you need to perform with your Cricut, then go ahead and grab this set of cheat sheets that I created just for you. It's only $15 and you get this 40-page set of cheat sheets with all the diagrams and everything about everything that you need to do with your Cricut. So let me just read out some of the stuff that are included. So there's the description on everything about design space, the left hand side panel, the right hand side panel, how to cut, how to mirror, how to group, how to ungroup. Everything is given in this set of cheat sheets that you just need to download. You can print it out and keep it beside your Cricut, or you can just leave it on your device to refer to it whenever you feel like. So when I was getting started, this really helped me in remembering everything that I needed to remember about my Cricut. So go ahead and grab this. It's only $15. The link is given in the description down below.
Let's get started with today's project. So here's a list of supplies that we'll be needing. First of all, you're gonna need your Cricut Maker. We're working with chipboard, so a Cricut Maker is recommended along with a knife blade, which looks like this. And you're also gonna need the standard or a strong grip mat, which is quite sticky because chipboard is pretty thick and you got to make sure that sticks properly on the mat. You're also going to need your essential tool set, two colored cardstock papers, 12 by 12 inch, and two chipboards. So I'm using these from Kaiser Crafts. So this is what they look like. They're roughly around 0.2 millimeter in thickness. And you're also going to need the Scotch tacky glue. You'll see what I'm using in the video. And you're also going to need a glue gun. So let's get started with the project. First of all, open up Design Space. So I'm using the offline version of Design Space. So once you're in Design Space, just click on New Project. So first of all, I'm going to add a square on the canvas. And I'm going to resize this to 11.5 by 11.5 inches. And let me just change the color to something lighter so that we can see what we're working on. Now I'm just going to type in the alphabets. So you can make it, so you can either type in numbers or spellings, like short spellings. If you want to create something to help the kids learn the spellings, you can also do that. Over here, I'm just making a simple puzzle with alphabets, and you can arrange the alphabets randomly or in order. It's totally up to you. So I'm just going to divide the alphabets into 4 lines, as you can see over here. And I'm just going to enlarge the whole thing so that it fits on the square. So the square at the back is actually my template. So I'm just going to keep the alphabets at the corner and just enlarge the whole thing by just clicking and dragging. So I'm just going to spend some time rearranging this whole thing. And I'm just going to change the font to something more fun. So this font looks pretty good, and I've also added some shapes here because there was a lot of extra space at the side. I'm probably gonna rearrange this once more. So right now there's a huge difference between the 2 lines. So what I'm gonna do is go to line height and decrease the line height from the text edit panel. And now I have lots of space to add some shapes over here. So we're still pretty much in that 12 by 12 inch margin, which is perfect. So I'm just gonna add a bunch of shapes here. Next, I'm going to select all and click on attach so that everything stays in its place. This is extremely important. Without this step, it's not going to work out. So make sure you click on attach. So here we are on the mat, and this is how it looks. Everything is perfectly in the exact position that we wanted it to be. Now I'm going to go back. So that was to be cut out from the chipboard. Now I'm going to duplicate this entire thing. To cut out the alphabets from the cardstock paper to stick on top of the chipboard. So let me just ungroup this, and I want all of these alphabets to be in different colors. So I'm just gonna, so you can either change the color here or position them based on, or reposition them on the mat based on the color of your paper. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do a little bit of rearrangement. All right, so we are ready to get started with the cutting. So first of all, I'm gonna choose chipboard from here. I'm gonna select heavy chipboard. Sorry, the chipboard width that I'm using is 2 millimeters, not 0.2. All right, now it's time to load the mat inside the machine. But before we get started, this step is extremely important. We need to move these star wheels to the far right corner so that it doesn't ruin the chipboard. Or else these can leave marks on the chipboards which will ruin the entire thing. So make sure when you're working with thicker materials, make sure that you move the star wheels all the way to the right. So these are the chipboards that I'll be using, and I'm using 2 of them. I'll show you what to do with the other one later on. So I'm going to place one of those on my mat. So my mat is extremely new. This is probably the first time I'm using this mat, so I don't have to tape it. But if your mat is a bit old, then you definitely need to tape it. And this is the Cricut knife blade that I'll be using for this project. All right, now it's time to get it cut. So on the Design Space app while cutting, it's going to show you that you need to cut it like around 24 times or something. But halfway through, you can pause the machine and check if the cutting is done or not. Because for me, after 7 passes, it was pretty much done. So it was pointless to keep the machine running. So I just paused the machine and released the mat. So you can definitely do that. Just make sure, just stay around and keep an eye on the machine while it's getting cut, while it's cutting out the chipboard. So as you can see, everything has been perfectly cut after just 7 passes. So I'm just gonna take everything out. Now I'm gonna cut out the alphabet, and like I mentioned earlier, I want the alphabet to be of completely different colors. So I'm just using leftover cutouts from the previous projects to cut out the alphabets, and I'm just gonna use the premium fine point blade. And one more thing, once you're done cutting out the chipboard, you need to move the star wheels back to their original position. All right, now it's time to assemble everything. So these are all the alphabets, and you can have just cleaned them up a bit because there were some excess sticking out. And one more thing, do not throw away the other parts of the alphabets, the inner parts, because you can stick them on the chipboard. So for this part, you're gonna need the glue gun. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start applying glue at the top section, and I'm gonna make sure that I apply some good amount on these inner portions, because you don't want them to come off later, because these are the parts that are gonna be used most of the time. And I'm gonna do this in portions, because if you apply a lot of glue, it just dries off real quick and you're not even done sticking properly. So it's best to work in portions instead. So I'm sticking one part, and then I'm going back and applying more glue to stick rest of the parts. Next, I'm gonna stick the inner portions of the alphabets. So first, I just added the alphabet to make sure that I can stick the inner portions perfectly where they belong. Now I'm gonna stick the paper alphabets onto the chipboard alphabets just to cover them up. You can also use a paint instead, but sticking papers seemed like the easiest and the quickest method to me, so I'm just gonna use that. And I'm gonna use this Scotch tacky glue. It's perfect for paper crafts. It dries up real quick. It doesn't curl up the papers, so I just love this glue. And I'm just gonna apply it all over the chipboard letters and just stick the paper letters on top of it. So I also cut out this cover portion for the top part of the chipboard. After cutting out the chipboard, I just placed the cardstock on the same mat and got this thing cut so that it's exactly the same as the chipboard. And I'm just gonna apply glue and stick the cover on top. And it's totally up to you. You can either paint it or cover it up with cardstock. You can use any color, any pattern that you like. It's totally up to you. And again, I'm just working in parts so that I can stick each and every part perfectly. And that's it. We're all done.
Alright, with that we have reached the end of today's tutorial. I hope you girls and guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section down below, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel for a chance to win a Cricut Maker bundle when I hit 10K. I'll now see you in the next video. Bye bye!